Hey, First Methodist Church family, it's Pastor Jim. I'm here with my friends John and Charles Wesley here in my office. I want to tell you about three things. I've been on this kick with about three things with Pastor Jim. These three things are yesterday, they are Sunday, and they are Monday. Let's start with yesterday. Yesterday, we gathered together with a whole bunch of people with Friendship Baptist Church, with St. Paul Episcopal Church, with First Presbyterian Church of Albany, all together for Fall on Flint. If you weren't here, I hope you see the pictures. And this is more than just a good time for the kids. I hope that you have seen that. We have really felt like Fall on Flint was a catalyst moment, a really special marker for two major things that our church has felt called to lean into, and to practice. Over the past few years, as we've dug into our mission and vision and values, so many things have clarified for us. Two things popped up that we think are so vital for our mission and for our vision. First is that as we seek to offer Christ from the heart of downtown for awakening in Southwest Georgia, we know that First Methodist Church can't do it alone. We know that we need other churches. We need to support and work together to offer Christ to this whole community. And so Fall on Flint was just yet another major step in building relationships, building friendships, building partnerships with our fellow churches here in downtown as we seek to build relationships with churches all over Albany, in the Methodist circle, and in the ecumenical circle. And not only did we do it together, it was planned from the ground up together. Every church made big changes and dreamt together as we sought to put this together. So a huge item on our ministry action plan has been to build partnerships and friendships with other churches. Last night was a great step, and I want you to celebrate with me. Second, as we seek to cultivate and equip disciples of Jesus Christ, as we seek to make more and maturing disciples, one of the key ways that we do that, one of our key strategies, is befriending others, being genuine friends and building genuine relationships where we can let others see, know, and hear about Jesus through the real love of another person. And so last night, it was more than just, I've got kids, I'm going to bring them to Fall on Flint. There were people from our church and our sister churches coming together, whether they had kids or not, to befriend people, to build those relationships, to make introductions, to share the love of Christ in genuine ways. I got to tell you, friends, I'm celebrating Fall on Flint. Sure, Flint Avenue was full. That's great. We love that. But what I'm celebrating more, and I'm going to invite you to celebrate as well, is that we have been led by the Spirit of God to take the steps to build these relationships with other churches. And we had a great night of befriending other people so that they can become introduced to Jesus. I'm going to ask you something. Did you meet somebody last night? Did you see somebody new? Did you see somebody you haven't seen in a long time? Did you see somebody who needs the love of Jesus? I'm going to ask you to reach out to them today. I'm also going to ask you, would you invite them to church? And so that you can help build that relationship in which you can live, share, and help them know about the God who loves them so much through Jesus Christ. All right, so that was yesterday. Let's talk about Sunday. Sunday is All Saints Sunday. And what we do on that day in our worship services is we remember and we celebrate the lives of the members of our church who have died over the past year. Why? Multiple reasons. The big biblical theological reason is because we recognize that they are part of the great cloud of witnesses that are a part of the church with us. They have run the race and they continue around the throne of God to empower. And because the people of God, as even if we die, it's not the end of the road for us, because it is the doorway into the throne room of Jesus Christ, into the mansions that He has built for us. And so, we are going to do a couple of things. We're going to celebrate the gospel lived fully in those saints who are living in glory. We're going to proclaim the gospel for us so that we can remember that in the face of death we have life. But we've also invited all of the families of those who have died in the past year to come and be with us. And so there are going to be people from out of town. There are going to be people that you see every week. There are going to be people that you may only see on occasion and who are now exploring new relationship with Jesus. And for some whose family members have recently died, it's going to be difficult for them to enter into community again because grief is very hard. You may know that. I know that. Grief is very hard. And so I'm going to ask you a couple of things for this Sunday. I want you to come. Please come. We're going to read the names of our honored dead. We're going to preach the gospel of eternal life, but we're also going to be with people who are walking freshly through grief. And we know that it has no timeline. And so I'm going to ask you to come. And I'm going to ask you to not only receive the gospel and be challenged to raise your vision beyond the moment into eternity so that you can have a faith that will extend into eternity. You can see the long view. But I'm also going to ask you to come so that you can be a special, intentional presence for those who are coming with us, the family members of our honored dead. They need encouragement. They need to have that tangible sense that that real people in this congregation love them deeply. I know many of them do, but some of them are just going to need that extra touch. You have a chance to do that. And so I'm going to ask you to come. And when you see those families, we will have pews reserved, but on All Saints Sunday, people usually sit wherever they'd like, but be on the lookout. Take a special effort to look at the front of your First Word newsletter for the list of those people who are our honored dead, and look for their families on Sunday. They'll be at both services. We need you to share the love of Christ. All right, that's thing number 2. Thing number 3 is Monday. I talked to you about yesterday. I've talked to you about Sunday. Now I'm going to talk to you about Monday. Monday is our quarterly church council meeting, but it's also our annual charge conference. Wow, that's a lot of words, isn't it? All right. Our church council, of course, is the governing body of the church. They meet quarterly and occasionally through the year. All of our meetings are always open. If you're not a member of the church council and you want to see what's going on, you can always come. We meet in the SAP classroom. It'll be this Monday at 6:30 on 11/3. But also, it's our annual charge conference. Now, you may not be familiar with that term. Charge conference is the connecting conference, the connecting meeting, really. It's not like a worship conference or a big, everybody needs hotel rooms. It's just for that evening. We're going to have Reverend Nate Lehman, who is an area presiding elder in the Global Methodist Church. Not ours, but for scheduling reasons, Nate's going to come and be a part. He's also the pastor of Bainbridge First Methodist. He's going to come. So the charge conference is made up of a connection of a presiding elder from our annual conference and our elected church leadership along with our appointed pastors to come together, and they vote on some big picture things like our leadership for next year, pastoral salaries, and celebrate a couple things through the year. So that's what the charge conference is. Now, if you've been around our church for a few years, I need you to know that our charge conference has got a totally different flavor as we're entering into this beautiful relationship as Global Methodist congregation. It's much more laid back. Far less paperwork, far less pomp and circumstance. In fact, this year, a lot of our churches, including ours, are holding the charge conference as a beginning moment on the agenda of their church council meetings. So you may be used to gathering the whole church, having superintendents come and giant worship services. And for the past few years, we've been doing it in a much more laid back style. And so I want you to expect that. I want you to come if you want to come. And just observe and pay attention and see. Now, everything that we always talk about, we always share with everybody. So there should be no surprises there, but I want you to come if you think Charge Conference is something that you feel is special. I just want you to be aware that if you've been coming to Charge Conferences for 20 years, as we enter into our season as a Global Methodist Church, it is much more laid back than before. It'll probably take about 15 or 20 minutes of our church council meeting, and then we'll continue with our agenda. Just kind of the way it works. We're grateful because we've had far less paperwork and we can really focus on the decisions that really matter. So we'll be presenting our leadership for the upcoming year and presenting just a couple of those other matters. So I want you to know about that. All right, so this has been a longer video, and I'm not going to edit it even though I've rambled and stumbled a little bit, but here's the deal. This was 3 things with Pastor Jim about yesterday, about Sunday, and about Monday. Celebrate with me yesterday. Fall in Flint was not just a great event for children, it was a great event for our community, but it was a great event for us in our pursuit of our vision to offer Christ from the heart of downtown for an awakening in Southwest Georgia, and of our mission to cultivate and equip disciples, especially in this case through befriending. All right, All Saints Sunday coming up on Sunday. It's an important day for us in our spiritual lives, but I really would love for you to be there because there are going to be people with us that we just need to make sure that they know how deeply loved they are by Jesus through us. And then Monday, we'll have our regular quarterly church council meeting with a charge conference at the beginning. And those meetings are always open. You're invited to attend. All right, this 2-minute video turned into a 10-minute video. I'll keep some notes to throw in the email along with this, but I wanted to share a few things with you. Say hi to John and Charles Wesley for me, if you will, and have a great day. I hope I see you Sunday.